Welcome to this bonus episode of the C Xchange at the studio. I'm Alex Russell Rutherford, CCXP, Disruptive Customer Champion, and I'm really excited today we're hosting a judge club at Skewber HQ. But what's even more exciting is in the podcast studio with me today, I've got Leonie. We're going to run through, over the next 15 minutes, a few quick-fire customer-themed questions. But before I make a start, why don't you introduce yourself, but let us know where you work and a little bit about yourself.
Oh, awesome, Alex. I'm so stoked to be here. Your offices are amazing, and this is a very nice experience to be here for the Judge Club event. So I'm Leonie Williams. I am a consultant, so I co-run a little organisation called Customer Service Solutions, and we help people and their organisations to become essentially more customer-centric as a culture. So we help in terms of running emotional culture workshops. We look at the voice of the employee. We do customer journey mapping. I guess the list is endless, isn't it, when it comes to customer experience? But that's essentially a little bit about what we do. We're all about human side.
Let's repeat the consultancy name again.
Customer Service Solution.
You heard it here. Great. Look, the synergy between culture and customer, you've already got me interested. It's gold. Okay, question number one, Leonie. Your experience with Awards International. How did you first enter being a judge? How long has it been? Did you start in a different capacity? Give us a sense of how you've ended up being at Judge Club.
Yeah, so I started probably about 3 years ago, and it kind of became an opportunity really when I left the Institute of Customer Service. We weren't really, because we were quite an independent body, we weren't really able to get involved in anything like that. And when the the opportunity arose to become involved in something external, which was going to, I guess, raise credibility within the industry, we've got a new business, that kind of thing. Decided to get involved in the awards then. And I haven't looked back, to be honest. It's been 3 years and I've judged the UK Customer Satisfaction Awards or Customer Experience Awards, but also the Business and Innovation Awards as well a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. Like, it's so good for a multitude of reasons. One of them is all the best practice and then the innovation. And obviously then you get to see people you haven't seen for a while at the actual events. But it's also brilliant for the businesses that are involved because they get, to validate what they've been doing. So all in all, I think it's really great.
Yeah, such an interesting perspective coming out of the Institute, I suppose, where you've got that first-hand knowledge of, all of those organisations. But with the awards, you're almost seeing these the best stories, right? How have you fixed this or overcome this problem? The human element. I really love being on the judge panel because, again, it's almost like having a foot in the real world. How are people solving problems, but also it's that human bit about they found a new or creative, or different way of fixing that same problem. Great, thank you. Business awards too. I've done that once. It is so interesting. And I definitely had a thread of customer on it as well. Because why are they in business, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, question number 2. Who do you see as being amazing at customer experience? This might be something really small, a little human touch you experienced, or it might be something where you've had an emotionally expensive purchase. Could be anything.
Oh, right. So you're talking about from a personal perspective.
Yes.
Ah, okay. So I was going to go in with the whole big business piece.
You're welcome to. If someone comes to mind, we could do both.
Okay. So normally when I answer this question, I answer it. I've got loads and loads of businesses that are brilliant just due to the nature of what I've been involved with. And those are all businesses that I've worked with that actually want to make change, significant change. So the one that I'd normally call out in terms of business is Motability Operations. They are a mass car leasing organisation, but for those with accessible needs.
Yeah.
And they have this mantra, which is don't break principle, but you're welcome to break policy for all of their employees. And it means that there's a really great cultural fit to making sure that you do the right thing for the customer. So I always call them out as being my favourite. But
I'm going to mention something quickly.
Yeah.
From my personal experience, when I was Customer Experience Manager at Wessex, I think when in your capacity at the Institute, let us go and visit Motability as part of our, wanting to have fresh perspective. And we had in terms of authentic, true culture.
Yeah.
They opened up all the doors to us. We got to sit with their teams, hear the senior leadership story, a nice diverse leadership team as well. we were so fired up coming out of it. And for us at Wessex, who were in Bath, obviously they were just down the road from us as well. So we'd forged, a human connection there as well.
Yeah.
So you did that.
Ah, that's so nice. And also, I really enjoyed working with Wessex because actually I thought they were brilliant as well. So yeah, Motability from a business perspective, but also I just want to shout out, I guess, all of the unsung heroes, which are those customer advisors that sit on the phone talking to people all day long, really giving that human connection when generally those are phone calls that are complex or out of adversity and they're having to deal with some really, really harsh conversations, especially now when you're talking about debt and health and potentially suicidal sort of conversations. And they don't really ever get the empowerment and the tools and the training that they need to have the right levels of emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
But they keep coming back every single day.
Yeah.
So those are the people that I'm going to call out today.
Great answer. That's almost a mic drop moment. Okay, question number 3. We're off to a strong start. How did you end up getting into CX in the first place? So some of us have unconventional paths in, right? Different industries, and then you end up doing it. Or you end up temping somewhere and then you're still there sometime later. How have you ended up in CX?
Interesting question. So I guess you could say that from my very, very first job at Waitrose, I was in customer service. And then every single job that came after that, I was working in a call centre or behind a desk or, whatever that meant, in a retail shop or whatever. And then I went travelling, got back absolutely skint. So I went and got a temporary job, and that's when I fell into hotels. And I think from the moment that I fell into hotels and working at Hilton, it was in my DNA at that point. Yeah. And service is just not something that's negotiable when you're talking about hospitality and hotels, particularly when you've got massive, great big cultures like that. And it was extremely apparent that service delivery was really, really important. And that was obviously the experience side of well. So, and then I moved to IHG, very, very similar concept. It was all about the culture and making sure that everyone understood their role in, the customer service delivery. But I guess really in terms of the experience side, probably when I started working at the Institute, I got more enveloped into people's businesses, their strategies, supporting their survey, voice of the customer. Oh, so yeah, I'd probably say that was probably the pinnacle part where I sort of changed from service to experience.
Yeah, very relatable. My background is like high-end hospitality management as well. But I always tell people I'm still doing exactly the same job. It is the end-to-end experience.
Yeah.
It's just, whereas before it was, the warm welcome and the water glass and the fresh flowers and the final touch, it's the same job. I'm doing exactly the same job.
Yeah.
So it's funny how things do come full circle. And to meet your Waitrose, our previous guest started theirs at John Lewis.
Oh, there we go.
But was forever affected by, that was character building.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Biggest piece of advice for somebody wanting to start out trying to fix their customer experience challenges. So the context here, so often organizations end up fixing the squeaky wheel, or the thing that the leader might want to fix, right? What's our advice for that? How can we be better in that space?
Oh gosh, there's so many things you can do, isn't there? So what would be okay, so I would speak to my employees as a absolute, because your employees are feeling the same things as your customers, aren't they? But actually with your employees on board, whatever changes you make are going to potentially get embedded way faster, and actually whatever changes you make are going to happen with the support of your employees. So definitely
that's a great answer. And for them in their day job, it's the feeling of, is the change being done at me or with me? And I wonder which one of those two is going to sustain.
Yes, absolutely.
So very good answer. What do you think is the hardest thing when it comes to trying to improve customer experience?
I have to say, without being too pessimistic, leadership. Leadership. Unless you've got an organisation that is run by an incredibly customer-orientated CEO or board, it's really, really difficult to get those changes made because it's really difficult to always prove the impact and prove the value.
Yeah.
So it's not all the time, and actually some organisations do have a big kind of push on CX, but sometimes it is like pushing water uphill, and you cannot get the budget, you cannot get the resource, and it is having meeting after meeting after meeting, and there's something else is prioritised or resources put elsewhere out, for legislation or whatever reason, and that is what I'd say is the biggest challenge: getting leadership buy-in all the time to do the things
it's hard
to do.
And the word intent comes up a lot. What's their real intent? Is it that other KPI, and customers just sort of there, the noisy thing, or actually do they really get it? It's cause and effect.
Yeah.
What's their purpose? It is customer. Where would we be without them? So let's finish on a slightly different question. What's your proudest moment in your career?
Oh, proudest moment, I guess. I guess I've got a couple. One of my biggest, proudest moments was the fact that I orchestrated the opportunity to go and work with IHD out in Australia. And I made that happen, and I got the opportunity to work in Melbourne for a year. Whilst
other side of the world.
Yes, whilst being sponsored to do so.
Wow.
And that was a big opportunity because lots of people said, "Oh, you're so lucky," but I orchestrated that, so I'd say that that's a real proud moment for me.
Yeah.
And also running your own business. Oh my word, taking that leap of faith to go from doing one job to 14 jobs on a daily basis. That was a massive leap of faith.
You jumped right off the cliff there, but it's flying. Very exciting.
Yeah. So that was proud moment.
Awesome. That feels like the great place to finish. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today, and we're looking forward to having a great judge club. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for the opportunity.
No worries.